Welcome to Unqualified.
Hi, my name is Rashida.
I'm Bianca.
And I'm Amanda, and we're three teens who live in Arizona and decided to make a podcast. First things first, Bianca, quote of the day.
All right, the quote of the day today is "Make the most of the best and the least of the worst" by Robert Louis Stevenson.
Great quote. Okay, so today it's going to have a special episode. We're going to have a guest or guests today to talk about their experience with COVID-19, which is super interesting. So you want to talk more about that, Rashida?
Yeah, so today we will have guests for the first time. These guests are Arizonians who had a real experience with COVID, and we asked them to share their stories about what they had and went through. Their names are Hasmukh Kavathia and Harshida Kavathia. And throughout the interview, they talked about their experience with COVID and just basically what they went through. Hi, how are you?
Doing okay?
First question, how did your experience with COVID-19 start and what were your guys' symptoms?
Uncomfortable. She was feeling around 6 p.m. She felt some little body ache. And middle of the night, around midnight, I felt little fever and a body ache. So we said, must be something normal. But then body ache started so bad actually. So I could not sleep. And then I suddenly started to feel chill. And I said, come on, I have fever and I'm feeling chill. And she was feeling, it's the same. So she was feeling a little bit, not coughing, not coughing and no cold.
No cold, just
a
headache
and a fever started. My fever was in the morning, I measured it around, it was 101.6. So we said something is not right. So my son-in-law, he came to our house. He's a doctor. So he thought maybe some regular fever kind of thing. But so he decided
but still he has a protective thing.
He had a protective gear in case something happened. So he measured our basically stethoscope. He was checking our heart and lungs kind of things. But then he said, well, looks like you guys should be okay. But if anything bad, what we will do, we will wait for 2 or 3 days. We waited until Monday morning.
What was the test like?
9 o'clock, we were standing in a line. We were almost 30, 40 cars away. We were waiting. Then finally, we both got tested out. The test was unbelievable. They put it on one nostril, but we felt so uncomfortable. Unbelievable, uncomfortable. When they put down the swab into my nostril, I squeezed her hand so much because it was painful to me.
And they came to me and I knew it's bad because he was squeezing my hand so hard.
What happened after that?
But then we came home, still we have a little fever and body ache was starting real bad actually. So we were just laying down, just doing nothing much. And then the evening time came, we took another Tylenol. Still fever was, somewhere around 100, 100.5, something like that. Body ache and my muscle aches was so much. And I thought my body gonna break into two part looks. That's what I felt like. My, bone pains I had so much.
Were your guys' symptoms different than each other's?
She had the similar way, bone pain, no coughing, and muscle aches. We did not lose any, smell kind of stuff.
I did lose the smell, but he didn't.
I did not.
I had the headache and he didn't. So
I did not have
I think everybody might get the different symptoms.
Were there any scares during your experience?
Once you know the positives, then the bad thoughts started coming to my mind. And I thought, oh my God, what's going to happen? Because we already heard from other people and from the news and everywhere, it's not going to be good.
Were you ever scared for your life?
So my son-in-law, my son, and my daughter-in-law, there happen to be all three are doctors. Now we know you are positive. We're going to come to your house. And we want to check it out. We want to give you oximeters. So they gave us an oximeter. And they told us, in case your oxygen level goes down below 90, make sure we have to go to ER right away. So we kept on measuring
At least three times a day.
And we were taking all measurement like blood pressure, our temperature, and oxygen level. We were measuring every day, at least 3 to 4 times a day. So 3 times we were taking this way. So third day was okay. Fourth day, it was okay. And the fourth day evening, I was measuring my oxygen level, and maybe I did not put my finger in the right way, but suddenly it showed only 80 degree. 80 oxygen level.
Oh,
And
wow.
I started worrying. I said, oh my God, that means we have to go to hospital. That was at 10 p.m. So me and my wife, both of them were said, what are we going to do? So we decided, so let's do prayer. We wanted to do prayer because knowing if you go to hospital, what's going to happen? Nobody going to see us, right? At least if I go to hospital, I'll be by myself. So I was a little bit worrying. Bad thoughts started coming. I said, here we go. I think this is something bad going to happen. So she was telling us, no, let's sit down, do some prayer, and let's take it easy. That's what we were doing. And then we measured after 10, 15 minutes later, it was 88. I said, well, at least it's moving into the right direction. Yeah. So then another 10, 15 minutes later, we were really calmed down. I said, whatever going to happen, we have to go through. So then it showed 92. So I said, let's go to bed. That's okay. The middle of the night, I measured it one more time. It was 92 or 93. So I wasn't worrying much about it. But since that day, every time I was trying to measure, I always thinking about, is it going to be over 90? Over 90, that's what the bad thought I had.
And what did you guys do to pass the time?
Meanwhile, we said, what are we going to do now? We can watch TV, but how long you can watch TV? Our grandson is a 15-year-old. So he says, can we make, because I love to make popsicle stick, some creation kind of thing, a bowl. So we decided to create a popsicle house. So he said, Grandpa, I'm going to do the second floor and you do the first floor. So we will do it. So that every day at least I was playing, for 1 hour or so, creating something creativity.
What happened after the first couple days?
And the 6th day, my son talked to the cardiologist. So he called me. He said, how's your blood pressure? My blood pressure was going down a little bit lower. And normally, usually I have 125 over 72, but then suddenly become 110 and 62 and 60. So doctor told me that, okay, you're taking 2 medication, let's stop 1 medication. Cut in half in the evening time. So that's what we did. But it remained around 62 level. Bad part was, within 9 days, I lost 8-pound weight.
Wow.
And
I lost that.
And she lost 7-pound weight.
Wow.
And the energy level was starting going down
Really?
so bad. If I remember correct, on a Mother's Day,
Father's Day.
I'm sorry, on a Father's Day, my daughter
and son, they came driving.
They wanted to come and check it out. How are you guys doing? I could not stand up.
Yeah, it was hard to stand. Like, we don't have that much energy. You need some support to stand. They were driving here just to see us. But we couldn't, it was so hard. We were standing by the garage. But it was really hard. So that was really hard for him. He couldn't believe it that I couldn't even stand. It's okay, but he was really, really upset about it. Daughter and son, they both were leaving the food outside, and we were getting the food, but it was so hard to even warm it up. You cannot even, like, just standing for a little bit, it's little difficult for us. Even though we had the really mild case, like that's what we heard, that this is mild.
This was mild, we did not have to go to hospital. So only medication we took, that was a Tylenol, nothing else.
Did anything help your recovery?
Our nephew is a pulmonologist, so he told us, make sure we take vitamin D, vitamin C, and vitamin zinc. Our nephew, Dr. Kavathia, he said it, Okay, in case, I think it's a good idea, 7th, 8th, 9 days, so maybe you want to sleep on your stomach. That will give you your, because, lungs get a little more break. Because when we lay down, this, the lungs on the back side, but if you put a little more pressure on the stomach side, that will be better for the lungs. And meanwhile, we were doing deep breathing exercise. We were doing a lot of exercise, but deep breathing exercise. Other exercise, we could not do it because we did not have energy.
Yeah.
But at least we could do the deep exercises. We were drinking warm water with, turmeric, lemon, and those kind of stuff we were doing. And
Taking us like a steam.
And we were taking the steam, hot water.
Hot to boil the water and cover our face and take the steam. So
we want to make sure, normally that is being said, that corona, symptom basically you get through either eyes, nose, or, throat.
Yeah.
So at least we said, let's try to warm it up in the sense, we wanted to do the steam. So at least eyes, nose, and throat get some break. And we were told that if you have no fever for 4 days, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th days, then you more likely recovered nicely, no question about it. That's what we felt. We lost weight 8 pounds, but I think now I gained back 5.5 pounds. So we are okay.
I gained back my weight.
Sick had it. But we did not lose appetite. We were eating, regular food, but maybe quantity-wise, maybe we had a little bit less.
Did you guys share your message with others?
We decided to share with everybody else. This is not a joke. Make sure
everybody,
just wear a mask. It's very nice. So many people think, yeah, it's not going to happen to me. But no, it's not true. It will happen. It may happen. So people have to be careful about it. And we told people, make sure you guys not only stay home, wear a mask wherever you go, but try to avoid going outside or try to stay home. That's what we were trying to tell them.
How do you feel? I know you mentioned earlier that you were telling people to make sure they wear a mask when they go out and stuff, but how do you feel when you see young adults not taking the virus seriously?
I'm really worrying about them.
Okay? And we are worrying about it. Because, it's not only elderly people can get it, or senior citizen get it. Some young people get it. I heard today the 7-year-old, he in Georgia got that, coronavirus.
Yeah.
So I would worry about it. And I would suggest people to do not take lightly and, stay in a social distancing. That's the really must. In my mind, we should do it. It is not joke. And people who, even though with mild symptoms, we felt so bad. So why not people not understanding this thing? I'm worrying about more to the school opening. When you have so many kids on the school, taking a school bus, how are we going to be handling this thing?
You're doing virtual learning as an option, but you can also go into school. But they've made everything socially distanced. We're only going to be allowed to walk single file in the halls, and everyone has to be 6 feet apart. So, I mean, how do you guys feel about going back to school, kids going back to school? Do you think that there's a way that schools can do it safely?
I think if the school follows all the things like keeping the distance and the whole way, they not so many so many students don't walk at the same time, no crowd.
I hope your school or somebody else's school, they do good job actually. And student has to follow. School administration they tried, but after all the students have to be careful about it.
Do you think that your experience has matched up with what the media has portrayed COVID to be like?
Based on the media, whatever we saw, we felt maybe we were gonna be affected much more because our negative thoughts started because of that reason. That's no question about it. Because people think, oh my God, this many people in hospital, this many people. No, remember the ventilators not enough and those kind of stuff. So you always say, oh, do I have to need do I need any ventilator in case if I go to hospital? What happens if it is not available? those kind of negative thoughts starts.
Negative.
Only because of that's the media.
Media. But this all about media. Otherwise, you don't worry about that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I think the way the media portrays it, I feel like it can definitely be different from people's own personal experiences. And I think everyone goes through a different thing. So it's really hard to know what's actually happening.
Yeah,
That
that's
is
right.
true. That is true.
Do you guys have any last things to say that you think people should know about with your experience?
I would say, just people should sanitize the hand, wash hand, wear masks, keep social distancing, try to avoid going out, we hardly go to 4 months, we did not go to any grocery store.
Still we got it.
We still got it. But it could happen because, human contact, that's what worries me about.
Mm-hmm.
So only thing we would say, please, stay safe and keep eye open. Basically, it could happen, and whatever they can do, the exercise, warm water, that helps. We were told try to avoid cold ice cream and those kind of stuff. Make sure, because you don't want to eat those cold food. Try the fresh food would be better rather than. So
many, like everybody's giving a different thing. You do this, do this, do this. So.
Mm-hmm.
But we are recovering nicely, no question about it.
Real
Thanks God.
Yes, so
we want to actually donate plasma.
Donate the plasma.
Oh wow.
We want
so
to
we can help someone else too.
He thinks we are ready. We will go donate plasma after testing our antibody.
Thank you to Mr. and Mrs. Kavathia for joining us and sharing their story. We hope you enjoyed. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Unqualified. Follow us on Twitter at unqualified_pod. And make sure you follow our podcast on Spotify. We're Unqualified.
And we'll catch you next time.